So I like Touhou, and to be more specific, its source material. Shoot 'em ups are a fairly underrated genre, at least in my opinion. I don't really talk to anyone that really plays shoot 'em ups. Then again, I mostly talk in the Touhou community, so I'm definitely not in the right crowd. Sorta sucks though, shoot 'em ups are a really fun genre to play through, and I mean, if it clicks with you, it is a really enjoyable time. And the Touhou series is the easiest way to get into the shoot 'em up genre. I mean, name another shoot 'em up series that is as popular as Touhou, or just name one in general. Okay, you got me there, but anyway, one of the things I really like about the Touhou series is the gimmicks. Every Touhou game has a unique gimmick to it that will either change up the gameplay in a funny new way, or just make you be able to cheat death. Today, I'm going to talk about and rank every mainline Touhou game gimmick. I'm going to do this ranking through a tiering system, because I think it's just much easier to rank these through tiering than through numerical ranking. That's just my opinion, and I think it makes things flow much better. I'll be ranking these gimmicks based off of how well they're integrated into the game and how well they change the game around it, or like how well they fit into the gameplay, and also how fun I find the gimmicks themselves. Also, to clarify, I will be only talking about the main series, so the games I will not be talking about is Highly Responsive to Prayers, Story of Eastern Wonderland, Phantasmagoria of Dim Dream, Lotus Land Story, Mystic Square, Immaterial, Missing Power, Shoot the Bullet, Scarlet Weather Rhapsody, Hisso Tensoku, Double Spoiler, Great Fairy Wars, Hopeless Masquerade, Impossible Spell Card, Urban Legend in Limbo, Autonomy of Common Flowers, Violet Detector, Sunken Fossil World, or 100th Black Market. I'm mainly doing this because all of the side games are either fighting games or photography games, and the two games that aren't that, well, they might as well not be covered either, because they're just part of the crowd of, I'm not going to be talking about any of the side games, so I might as well not talk about any of them. That might change, I don't know. These recordings are heavily improvised, and I might just talk about them if I feel like it. Anyway, with all that out of the way, onto the Fade to Black. First up is the embodiment of Scarlet Devil, and this one is a little difficult to place because it doesn't have a gimmick at all. I don't know if it should be put at the lowest tier because it has no gimmick, or if it should be put in C because anything below it means that the gimmick is holding the game back. I'm probably going to go with the latter because that honestly makes it easier for me to judge future games by using EoSD as the basis, the template. Anyway, not much to say. EoSD is a pretty vanilla experience, it gets C tier. Next game is Perfect Cherry Blossom, and this game's gimmick is that it's the easiest game. That one's actually partly true. This game doesn't really get that difficult, so as long as you're good on nerf control, you should be able to blow through most of this game pretty easily. But the game's actual gimmick is the cherry system. Now I'm going to say this right here, I'm not going to go too in depth about the scoring system, as a lot of the gimmicks do revolve around the scoring and how it scores things. I'm not going to go too in depth about that, I'm going to go more in depth about the gameplay itself, because that's something I have a better understanding on, because once you go to talking about the scoring, there's a lot of math in that. I just want to talk about game that is fun or not fun, though that does mean that Perfect Cherry Blossom's gimmick isn't really much to talk about. While you're in full power mode, power items are replaced with cherry items, which you collect, and every 50,000 cherry items you get, a supernatural border will appear and will protect you from any single hit, and you get an extra score if you stick around for as long as the supernatural border sticks around. You also get a few iframes after the supernatural border goes down, but effectively this is just a free hit you take. I'm pretty sure you're also able to capture a spell card if you get hit while in the supernatural border, which is pretty cool. But other than that, it doesn't really have a gimmick. Does having 2 extra stages count as a gimmick? It's not really 2 extra stages, it's just like 1 extra stage and a buffed the same extra stage. Even with the buffed extra stage, the Phantasm stage is still pretty easy, and honestly, this game overall is just really easy. C tier. The next game is Imperishable Night, and oh boy. If I was ranking these games based on how complex they would be, Imperishable Night would be near the end, because this game is very needlessly complex. I'm gonna get straight to it. Imperishable Night introduces time orbs. Time orbs are a collectible that allow you to get extra spell cards to capture, and also determines whether or not you get a good ending and can actually fight Kaguya, because if you don't get enough time orbs or you lose time orbs from dying or using bombs, then you'll advance time too far and you will not be able to fight Kaguya because she'll just go to sleep or something. Now, understanding the Kaguya route, that's pretty simple. You just have to play the game good and you're done. Capturing extra spell cards, on the other hand, you can't just 1cc that. No, you have to get more time orbs in order to get extra spells to capture. This is really annoying for completionists out there, and I even tried to capture extra spell cards, but I could never figure out how to do it. It might not be that bad if you actually understand the system, but I really don't. And maybe even if you understand the system, it can be annoying to get the time orbs. Getting away from all of that, I also want to bring up that the game also has a different gimmick with yokai mode and human mode. Basically, the four main protagonists have a friend buddying with them, and you switch to them when you're using your focus shot. Now, this game does actually do something interesting with this concept, as enemies will sometimes have little white things circling around them or by them that shoot out extra bullets, and if you destroy those, you destroy all the bullets around those things. I call them white things, I don't know what they're actually called. It's a cool concept, and I think it's utilized pretty well throughout the whole game. You can switch into your focus shot and not be hit by any of the white things that fly around, but if you're in human mode, you can touch them and interact with them and also destroy them. It's a cool concept and I like it a lot. Switching between focused and unfocused is actually something you gotta think about, other than, do I want to go fast or do I want to slow down a little bit? If that was all the gimmick was, I wouldn't have much of a problem with it, but the time orbs really annoy me, so I'm gonna set this not into F. If it was just the time orbs, I'd put it in F, but no, I'll move it up to D. After that, we have Phantasmagoria Flower View, and honestly, this is a massive mix-up from regular shmup gameplay, as now you're versing someone else, and in order to win, you have to kill the other player by throwing spell cards at them, or just throwing random objects their way, or spawning fairies on their side and stuff like that. I personally really like this gimmick. It's a massive mix-up from the rest of the shmup gameplay, and it only happens 2 other times, once in PC 98 and the other happens way later on. It is fun to play with friends, but it is a nightmare to do with AI, because the AI is coded to be insanely cracked if you play really well, so you just have to play badly so that the AI plays badly as well. It's annoying, but whatever. I also don't like that you have to spam Z and then hold Z to do a charged attack to send attacks over to the other screen. I wish that you would just held X to send attacks to the other screen and held Z to do regular attacks, because it really does strain your finger a lot, constantly spamming Z to attack things. Other than that, I don't really got many complaints. I will say the roster kinda sucks in this game. I'm not a big fan of these characters. It would be better if there was a purple-haired gremlin. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Game's gimmick is pretty simple, but all the characters give a lot more depth to the game, and I just like it overall. This gets a B tier. Next is Mountain of Faith, and this game, as well as Subterranean Animism, goes back to being really vanilla like Embodiment of Scarlet Devil. No gimmicks this time, aside from a massive coding error that causes Marisa to do massive amounts of damage if you choose Illusion Laser and keep your power at 3 while also being unfocused. This is because of a typo. I don't really think this counts as a gimmick. It seems more like a trap laid by Eggman, but it is unique to this game. Also, another unique feature that came along with this game is that the bomb counter has been completely removed. Now, when you use a bomb, you're actually taking away some of your power, meaning if you want to bomb out of a situation, you're gonna have to sacrifice some of your power and be more weaker. This isn't much of a problem if you play Illusion Laser Marisa, but it's supposed to be more of a sacrifice in this game, and cool concept on paper, causes me to really not like this game that much. I really like its music and its art, but I do not like playing it that much. But I'm not judging the games themselves, I'm just judging the gimmicks, and I'm not gonna let the bias get in the way. This goes into C tier. Next is Subterranean Animism, and it has the exact same gimmick as Mountain of Faith. That's not entirely true, actually. The main character this time gets a phone, and if they graze enough points, then the phone allows them to collect all of the items on the screen and also increase their value. Oh wait, that's... I guess that's it. C tier, but top of C tier for effort. Man, I really wanna like get to actually interesting gimmicks. I know they're there in the series, just I gotta find them. What game is next? Oh yeah, I forgot this one was next. Unidentified Fantastic Object introduces little UFOs that will sometimes drop from enemies. These UFOs will constantly be changing color, and if you get 3 of the same color, then a big UFO will appear. This big UFO will absorb all of the items around it, and if it fills up a meter, it will drop an extra of whatever item it will drop. Red UFOs drop life items, green UFOs drop bomb items, and blue UFOs just drop extra point items. You can also pick up a red, green, and blue UFO, and that will make a constantly changing UFO that will drop extra UFOs, I think? I don't actually know. Oh yeah, and you have 10 seconds to destroy the UFO to drop extra items. I forgot to bring up that part. I really like this system. It's a cool system. It's really fun, but it has a few drawbacks. I like the extra strategy that this gimmick gives. You want to constantly be thinking what kind of items you want to get from these UFOs, so you also have to constantly be figuring out when you want to collect the UFOs. And it also gives good incentive to do practice runs and try to route out your runs. It's really cool in concept, and if you know what you're doing, you can get a lot of lives and also a lot of bombs, since you get a full bomb piece if you can fill up a green UFO. The drawback being, UFO's a little bit on the harder side of the games, at least in my opinion, so it's sort of difficult to figure out how you're going to get the UFOs you want, and it's more like, how am I even going to get the UFOs in general? There's also an extra added annoyance that if you don't collect 3 separate UFOs or 3 of the same UFO, then the first UFO in your slot will be deleted and replaced with another. It's annoying, and I wish I could like this gimmick more, but it's a little too punishing and also a little too complex. It's not that complex, it's just something you gotta focus on, and I'm not very good at that when I'm trying to pathfind my way away from the bullets. But it's a good gimmick. Dare I say it's even a great one. So it gets A tier. Next we're taking a detour to Great Fairy Wars. I know I wasn't going to talk about the side games in this video, but I changed my mind. Great Fairy Wars is honestly a really fun game, and I have not heard anybody talk about it. Like, more people talk about Violet Detector than this. The gimmick for this game is pretty simple. You play as Cyrano, and you charge up a freeze meter by holding Z or spamming Z to unleash an ice cube that will freeze a bunch of bullets like a super cooled water bottle. It's really satisfying to do, and it also has a really nice sound when you freeze a bunch of bullets at once. It's especially satisfying to do with bosses, and it's generally just a really fun experience. There's not much to say. I'm not a fan of the fireball bullets that are introduced in later stages, and I'm not a fan of spamming Z and breaking my hand trying to charge the freeze meter. I could do without that, but whatever. Great Fairy Wars is a really fun time, and I totally recommend it. A tier. Next we got 10 Desires. I'm gonna admit it right away, I don't like 10 Desires. Anyway, let's get to this gimmick. 10 Desires adds little spirits that will appear after hitting or killing enemies. These spirits will stay in place and will not move down, meaning you have to go towards them to collect them. Collecting spirits will fill up a meter, and when you activate the meter by pressing C, you can enter trance mode that allows you to become completely ethereal and go really fast and do a lot of damage. It's a good repositioning tool, but there are a few problems with it. First off, because the spirits are static, you have to go to the top of the screen to get them, which makes it really difficult to grab the spirits when you're in the later stages, and you really can't do anything other than strafe around the bullets, and you can't really move forward all too much, so it's really annoying to get any of the spirits past stage 4. But also the gauge that allows you to go into trance mode will not activate until you completely fill up all 3 spirit things. This is a little annoying because there's 3 little spirit icons in the meter, making you assume you can use up to 3 charges. But no, you can only enter trance mode once you have all 3 spirits filled, and it's more confusing when you get a sound effect every time you fill up a little piece of the spirit meter, instead of just completely filling it up. Also, when you get hit, your meter slowly deteriorates as you're in trance mode, and you can't really do anything about it. Once the trance mode runs out, you get hit and lose a life. Don't know why you're forced into trance mode every time you get hit. Sure, I guess get rid of the entire meter if I get hit, but why put me in trance mode and taunt me even more? I really wish trance mode had separate charges so that you can enter it way earlier, because you really can't get that many spirits and you're really only able to use trance mode like once per stage. Really feels pointless, and once you even get the ability to use trance mode, you don't want to use it. You spent all that time building it up. Now you don't want to lose it. I don't know. It's really annoying to me, and I just don't like 10 Desires in general. D tier. Next is double dealing character. Today's gimmick is now Marisa has a flamethrower. Fried fish, anyone? Okay, that's not actually the gimmick. And if the shot types were counted as the gimmick, then this list would look a whole lot different. Anyways, DDC's gimmick takes advantage of a little feature that was in every Touhou game. There's an item collect border at the top of the screen that allows you to collect a bunch of point items and power items in bulk. DDC takes advantage of this by giving you a bonus life piece or bomb piece if you go to the top of the screen and collect a certain amount of items. Sort of like UFO, but you don't have to kill a giant UFO to get the extra rewards. You don't have to kill the giant UFO to get the extra rewards in UFO. I like DDC's gimmick, honestly. I think it's a pretty simple gimmick, and it's really easy to take advantage of, but it's also really easy to lose control of, because you can get really greedy with some of your grabs, and it can be either really rewarding, or you lost a bunch of lives because you kept trying to grab a bunch of point items like an idiot. I know from experience. It's a good gimmick, I think, but it could be pretty boring if you actually have self-control. Other than that, it is pretty vanilla, so I'll give it B tier. Next up is Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, and you know how Zune made Touhou 7 really easy as its gimmick? He tried that again, but in the opposite direction. Now, LoLK is the hardest game in the series, and that's its gimmick. This time there's no spiritual border to add as a sub-gimmick. Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom is known for being absurdly difficult at times, and I agree. That's why I'm now recording footage for this. To make up for being really difficult, LoLK adds the checkpoint system, also known as Erin's supplements. She actually, in the story, gives you future sight supplements to allow you to see into the future and redo checkpoints over and over if you mess up. I think it's really funny. Though the main characters can also choose not to take the supplements in Legacy mode, but they'll get an I told you so from Erin or another character if they get a bad ending. Also, you can get a bad ending as easily as getting hit a single time in the entire game. If you want to get a good ending in this game, you have to no miss this game. Point device mode really is looking quite delectable over there. Also, if you get hit a single time, Junko will make fun of you for being a bad gamer. Even if you do get to her without missing, she will still not care about the situation that much because Sagame used her powers to make Junko stop caring about the lunar invasion. Okay, enough about the story. So, LoLK is a really difficult game. I wonder what caused the inspiration to make such a difficult game. I Want to Be the Guy is a troll game made in 2007 by Kayan. It's a game known for being absurdly difficult and also messing with you, hence why it's called the troll game, similar to Cat Mario. In the files of LoLK, Zune talks about how he saw I Want to Be the Guy and thought, what if I made it into a bullet hell? And he tried, but unfortunately, I'm a big fan of these types of games. LoLK did not hit the mark on that case. I don't think Zune picked up that I Want to Be the Guy is a very subversive game with how it sets up its obstacles, as it subverts all of your expectations of what a platformer should be like and what obstacles should be like constantly, and it will even subvert itself. LoLK doesn't really subvert anything, it's just a really difficult bullet hell game. And sure, I like difficult games, but it's not really difficult in the way that I want to be the guy is. It's just difficult in that it's harder than the average Touhou level on Lunatic. Now, even though Zune completely messed up trying to make a bullet hell that's like, I want to be the guy, I still really like this gimmick, and LoLK is one of my favorite games in the series because it's a really fun game to learn, and the bullet patterns are genuinely just really fun. Except for Clown Piece, I really enjoy this. I'm not a masochist, I swear. This gets top of A tier. Next up is Hidden Star in 4 Seasons, and I have mixed feelings about this, but it's less about the gimmick and more about this game literally makes me dizzy and nauseous when I play it for some reason. That doesn't happen with any other game. I don't know why it's exclusive to this one. Anyway, the gimmick for this game is the sub-seasons. Sub-seasons are just an alternate shot type that every character can use. Each of the sub-seasons represent a different character, so effectively every character can use every other character's shot type. I think it's a pretty cool concept, but it also makes me question how Aya and Cyrano get access to Reimu's yin-yang orbs. I'd love to know the story behind that, because I know there would be no way she'd let them near those. I do think it is fun to mix and match different shot types to see what characters benefit from what other characters' shot types are, and it's fun to find good synergies, I think. Now, this isn't the only thing that the sub-season does. It also allows you to release a bunch of collected season items to effectively be a pseudo bomb. So every time you graze a bullet or every time you hit an enemy, a little petal will drop down. These are season items, and when you collect them, a little meter fills up. The more the meter fills up, the more you get extra stuff added to your sub-season shot type. But also, when the meter fills up, you can release that meter by pressing C and delete a bunch of bullets in a circle. Now, depending on the sub-season you selected, there will be different effects and ways that the release happens. For example, Reimu's sub-season does just a giant circle that deletes most things on screen, like a regular bomb. Aya's will allow you to create a little shield around yourself, which allows you to move faster. Marisa makes a small static circle that will protect you from all the bullets, and Cyrano will release a tiny bubble that will dissipate very quickly, but it is good for repositioning, and also it only uses up 1 charge. I really like this system. I wish I could play the game that this system was a part of, but I think it's a really cool gimmick. And it does this sort of meter better than 10 Desires. Yeah, that's right, we're going back to talking about 10 Desires. So there's this cool little thing that 10 Desires does when you enter trance mode, even if you don't get hit. If you use trance mode anytime during a boss battle, you will not be able to get the spell card bonus. Why? I don't know. It's a little annoying when a gimmick that you're supposed to take advantage of punishes you for using it. Why would you use trance mode in the first place then? What's the point of collecting the spirits? I don't know. But Hidden Star in 4 Seasons doesn't take away your spell card bonus even if you release, and I think that's really useful because you would really need that. Really, Hidden Star in 4 Seasons is just like an evolution of 10 Desires, but it actually does the gimmick good. I think it's a really cool system, and I wish I could play it, but my eyes want to vomit every time I get through stage 1. Now, I do really appreciate this gimmick, but it's not particularly something I would go back to playing, so I'll put it in B tier. It would be A tier if I liked the game a little bit more, but I don't. I mean, I guess it's funny to play as Cyrano and beat up a god, but whatever. Hidden Star in 4 Seasons goes into B tier. Wily Beast and Weakest Creature is next, and I'm gonna be honest, this is my favorite game in the series. This goes into S tier. That was a little too quick. Okay, wait, let me explain myself. So, Wily Beast introduces animal spirits. This gimmick is similar to UFO, where there will be animal spirits bouncing around the screen everywhere, and you have to collect them to have a special effect happen. If you collect 3 of the same animal spirits, you will get a super powerful focus shot, unfocused shot, or you will have 3 otters spinning around you protecting you from bullets. If you get hit while in this state, you'll take a free hit and you won't lose anything. I don't think you even lose a spell bonus, so that's pretty cool. And even if you get a complete mismatch of different spirits that don't match at all, you'll still be able to take a free hit for a short duration, and I think that's also pretty cool. The game is much more forgiving than UFO, and this game definitely is trying to improve itself from UFO. You could argue that the game is a little too rewarding, especially if you know how to unlock special spirits that will do things like give you extra spirits if you collect them. Sure, would make sense if you are put off by how much this game gives you to completely win everything, because you can cheat death quite a lot, and the final spell in the game is completely free because you're given so many spirits to just unleash upon Keiki. I think it's pretty funny though. In my opinion, the game is just letting you be stupid and pull stupid moves. Want to blindly charge through the screen and try to grab as many spirits as possible? Sure, why not? There's like a 50% chance you'll be able to get it, and also be able to unleash a lot of damage upon all of the enemies. I think it's a really funny concept, and I play this game as loose as possible. Army General can't do none when you have 5 wolves inside of you. Wily Beast and Weakest Creature has my favorite gimmick in the series, and it's such a replayable game because of it. I love it a lot, and I want to play it more, so I'm going to do that. I was supposed to be recording today. I already said this before, but S tier, it goes to the top. Next is Unconnected Marketeers, and this gimmick introduces ability cards. Point items have been replaced with money, and you have to kill enemies to get more money. At the end of each stage, you can use your money to buy ability cards to make yourself better and have better effects, or buy extra lives or bombs. And even if you don't have enough money to get any ability cards or anything, you can also get extra power items or extra money. The concept of the gimmick is really simple and really fun, and I enjoy it a lot, though I'm really not good at this game, and I really don't like any of the bullet patterns in this game. I really get most of the enjoyment out of watching other people play this game and use this gimmick. It's really fun to read and talk about the ability cards themselves instead of playing the actual game. I'm just gonna put this in A tier. I like the gimmick a lot, but I have not gotten very far in the game to like it more. I wish there was just another game that was fully dedicated to expanding on the card system and making it better, and also adding more ability cards and making it very replayable. Anyway, what's the next side game? Oh yeah, that's right, my favorite side game, 100th Black Market. 100th Black Market is my favorite side game in the series, and I constantly enjoy replaying it over and over and getting all of the cards. 100th Black Market expands on the card system and also makes it easier to get money to buy more cards. By grazing bullets, you will get bullet money, and with the bullet money you buy all of the cards during the shooting sections. And when killing enemies, you get regular money. This regular money can be used in the main menu to buy cards to bring in with you, and also give a discount to some cards. All of the stages have randomized enemy waves, and while some people might find this annoying to do over and over, I don't know, I like grazing money and also buying cards and unlocking new cards, so I find the repetitive nature of this game really fun to me, and I really like mixing and matching the cards, and overall I like the card system a lot, so I'm putting this in S tier. This is my favorite because it caters to my interests of doing the same thing over and over. S tier. Next up is Unfinished Dream of All Living Ghost, and this one is a much more improved version of Phantasmagoria Flower View. It actually adds quality of life features, like you don't have to spam Z anymore to constantly be shooting. Instead, the charged attack that you send over to the enemy side is X, and the bomb attack is C, meaning you can hold down Z and constantly be attacking. This is a great improvement, and it already gets A tier. Also, it has a pretty good roster, I think. I like these characters. It adds back Suika. I love her. She looks a little weird. Why are her horns in that position? I don't really care. I love her nonetheless. There's also Chiari and Mamizo and Ran. This is awesome. Why is Ran here? Overall, I'm biased. I like this game because of its roster, and it's also just a better, improved version of Phantasmagoria Flower View. It gets A tier. I still am not too big on the Phantasmagoria games, but this one is fine. Also, there are ability cards in the story mode, and also you can beat the enemies by just killing them while they're shooting out their spell cards during the story mode, which makes the story mode much easier and flow much better. I think that's pretty cool. And finally, the last game I'm talking about, Touhou 20 Fossilized Wonders. This game has a weird gimmick. I can't tell how connected or disconnected the gimmicks are from each other. I can say for certainty though, there are two gimmicks in this game that are completely separate from each other for some reason. Why are they there? Zune really likes to reference every gimmick in this game. The gimmick of Touhou 20 is that there are 4 gemstones you can equip, and they all alter your shot type in some way. Basically, you can replace your focused shot type and your unfocused shot type, and also you can have another gemstone on the bottom slot that gives you a different ability. There are 8 gemstones in this game, and each of them have a different effect, being a different shot type or being a different ability, and all of them are references. Editor's note, these gemstones are also very exploitable if you know how to build characters correctly, or at all. The Imperishable Moon is completely busted. It gives an abnormal attack. I'll bring abnormal attacks up later, but it has an abnormal attack that literally just creates a shield for anything in front of you. So you can block all bullets that are directly in front of you until the meter is down. I probably should have put this part later, but yeah, abnormal attacks are a meter that fills up. I'll bring that up later. Next up, you have 2 meters on the bottom left corner of your screen. What do these do? Well, the vertical meter, when it fills up, it will spawn a random pyramid thing that will shoot bullets, and when it's destroyed, it will destroy all bullets on screen and also drop a bunch of little gemstones. When the horizontal meter fills up, you will get a super powerful version of your attack while also being able to take a free hit. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is a reference to UFO, Hidden Star in 4 Seasons, and also Wily Beast and Weakest Creature, with the gems floating down being like season items, the super powerful attack basically just being the animal spirits, and UFO, well, it's a giant spinning pyramid that drops stuff when it gets destroyed. Am I stretching? Probably, but also there's so many references that that might as well also be another one. And finally, the game is harder than LoLK according to people that are not me, meaning that LoLK loses its uniqueness in being the hardest game in the series, and thus it goes into F tier. Now you might see this and think, okay, there's too many gimmicks in this. It's sort of bloated with references, and it doesn't make it a good gimmick? I say yes. I like the chaotic nature of this gimmick being just throw everything into this one game and see what happens. I'm a fan of this game, and I like the gimmicks in it. I'm not a big fan of the music, but the gameplay is really fun. Though I do find it annoying that one of the features of this game is you get 1 gemstone every time you beat stage 3, and there's 8 gemstones, so you have to play stage 3 a lot. Though the gemstone quantity only means how many gemstones you can put in a slot. So if you want to have the same 4 gemstones in all 4 slots, and you want to do that with every gemstone, then you would have to play stage 3 a lot. It is a little annoying for completionists maybe, but whatever. Regardless, this game gets S tier. That's all I have to say about the games, and really that's all I have to say about this video, so that's the ranking. Honestly, not much to say. I'm pretty proud of it. I definitely put it on my fridge. I don't actually know what else to say about this outro, apart from go play the games, go make your own ranking about the gimmicks. They're really fun to play through, and the gimmicks are really fun to learn about. But other than that, I don't know what to say. I'm probably going to make another video ranking the Touhou spin-offs, but that's for another time. As for next month, I'm going to be talking about something I have talked about on this channel because I'm feeling quite nostalgic. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Go play Touhou. And, bye!